first Shabbat service was on July 5, and I didn't think there would be a lot of people here because it was July 4th holiday weekend, and we had almost 100 people here, which was phenomenal. And I remember being up there in the front of the sanctuary, and the sound of the people singing was so amazing and so shocking and surprising to me. I was quite overwhelmed. That was very special.
You know, I went to different synagogues and went to different services, and I just had a different feeling here. It felt like warm and friendly, and felt like home immediately. It was a no-brainer for us to join JFC.
It's not like you have to go to every single service and be all normal. You can be yourself.
It gives me a chance to express my Judaism.
And I love that when we come here, we get to meet all the different people that we don't see on a daily basis, and all have a common thread and sense of community.
The fact that it is a very inclusive place. You can be different, and I am different, and I have a different family, and I have always felt comfortable here.
Right.
There's no no's here. You can go into Leslie's office, you can go into the rabbi's office, and it's a free place. It's a free place.
For a service or an event or just picking up my child from something, I always see a friendly face, and I can dress however I want. I don't have to feel, if I have no makeup on, that someone's gonna be talking about me. You guys don't understand that, but that's a girl thing, so that's what I love about it.
My older daughter, Julie, was about probably 3 at the time, and she enjoyed all the singing and stuff from the services so much we started to go regularly.
What I love about JFC is that everybody can get together and speak about Judaism, both about the language and about the culture of it, and we can have conversations about things that are going on, both current and past.
I think the overall spirit and energy whenever we sing songs or do services.
So what I love about JFC is that I feel like I'm part of a very strong community, and as your life changes, as you go through the vicissitudes of life, and your kids move in and out of elementary school and middle school, high school, off to college, this is part of the continuum that just sort of stays with you in your life, and it's very special. And JFC is there for you in times that are good and times that are not so good. It's a really great place to be a part of.
Well, the first thing I remember was the minister for the Presbyterian Church asked me if I'm going to the temple. I said, "What are you talking about? What temple?"
When we first started the synagogue, we were meeting in people's homes. We didn't have anywhere to go, and we were just 20 families to start with. And we met in each other's homes, and we began to attract more people in the community. And we began to need larger facilities. So I went to the South Salem Presbyterian Church and met with the minister there and talked about the possibility of using some of his facilities.
We went to the services at the Presbyterian Church in South Salem, and she and I walked in there not knowing anybody, and we got there just about the time services were starting, and we kind of sat down. But after services, we went into the Oneg, and all these people who I didn't know and who didn't know me came over, and they welcomed us as if we were, long-lost friends, as if they knew us for a long time, and introduced themselves and made us feel really welcome. And I remember going home that night, and when I got home, I said to Rona, I think we found a place.
So there's some things that are very common from when it was. JFC was really all about the people back then, and it is very much, it's still very much about the people. It's about the family. It's why Jewish Family Congregation really fit. We were a lot less formal. When I joined, we were in the South Salem Presbyterian Church. We actually wound up growing to a point where we outgrew the size of the church.
Well, we grew and grew and grew from 20 families to 50 to 90 to 100 to close to 200 families over the years there, and we really outgrew the church. We got so big that we could no longer have our high holiday services there. And we had, of course, by then we were using their sanctuary as well. And we used to have to rent the Ridgefield High School to have high holiday services because there were just too many people. So we figured by then it was time for us to have our own building. So we had a search committee and we started looking around in the area. We looked at land first, but it was all wetlands that was available. And eventually, I can't remember exactly how, we came to this building. And it was a restaurant at the time. It was called René Chardin. It was a lovely French restaurant. And they wanted to close it down and sell the building. So we negotiated with them over a period of time, and we were able to buy the building.
Well, we went through many changes. After Rabbi Steve left, we did have another rabbi, and who, very nice guy, but very young, fresh out of seminary, and it led to divisiveness within the congregation. There were also serious financial problems at the time due to the purchase of the building. So when I took over the presidency around 2000, I really saw myself as more of a peacemaker. And tried to bring about, which happened, kinder, gentler JFC, and it's, for me, fabulous to walk in today and see the wonderful spirit that exists and the nice feeling we have with Rabbi Marcus.
I was having lunch at Hebrew Union College 15 years ago in the springtime, and right opposite me was sitting Rabbi Carla Friedman.
The other connection that I have to JFC was, I guess it was during my presidency, going with Carla to a meeting at Hebrew Union College, and Carrie, our cantor, was there.
And in our conversation, since both of us were from Westchester, I was in Scarsdale at the time, but she happened to mention that her congregation was looking for a cantor.
And he asked, "What are you doing for a cantor?"
And I said, my daughter Shira has been a huge help to me at Scarsdale Synagogue and played many roles of leadership in a cantorial sense. I said, it might be a shidduch, it might work.
And I said, we're still searching. He said, well, what about Shira? And I said, that's fabulous.
It's very much more stable. We've had, I think, Cantor Kerry for 9 years and Shira before him for 5 years, so that it's a much more stable in terms of the leaders of the congregation.
The first day we came was just, it felt like coming home, to be honest. We really, hadn't spent a lot of time here since the Early Childhood Center, and we walked in and knew so many people right away. People had their arms wide open for us, hugs everywhere, and literally and figuratively, arms wide open.
When my children were little, the boys, I was taking one of them to nursery school, or both of them to nursery school, and I realized halfway to JFC that I still had my pajama bottoms on, and I got to school and I sat in the car for a second and I thought, should I go into school? And I just decided to go in with my pajamas on, and I think the funny thing was that nobody really noticed.
So what do you guys love about JFC?
Everything.
My little addition is that we are in the Hoffman Library. I just want to announce that.
JFC is like a built-in community. It's your home within the town. It's a town that doesn't have a lot of facilities for people to get together, so JFC offers that community for people of all ages to come together, and it's sort of the heart of the town for us.
I would say that the spirit of community and people caring, for each other, that's really been a constant. I've been a member since July of 1996. And so I'm going on my 18th year here. And I would say that that's really been a constant.
I love the feeling that it's a family and the friendship and the warmth. I love the idea that kids like it, even though my kids were always too old to be here.
And I think that one of the things that appealed to me was the way Steve reached out to people who were not Jewish and made it seem like this would be a very good place for us to bring our children, and that I was welcome, and he did everything he could to sort of help me see the connections to other things that I had done. So that was a big plus.
Steve Rossman was the
Steve
rabbi.
Rossman was the rabbi at the time.
You know, there certainly is no lack of enthusiasm for JFC.
The close, meaningful relationships, especially with several co-teachers, with Ruth Osher in particular. We would often find we were co-teachers of 3rd grade, then I do 5th, she does 6th, and we both co-teachers in 7th grade. We would often find we were on the same page, the same lesson, not by plan, but just because we were operating in the same way. And the other thing in particular was just working with Leslie Gottlieb as the religious school director, just the freedom to explore, the freedom to be creative in terms of curriculum, and on the one hand, free reign, on the other hand, solid guidance and advice. And it's an unbeatable combination, and I don't know that you can duplicate this at many other religious schools.
The simplicity and the fact that it's low-key, the fact that anybody's welcome regardless of what they look like, what their background is, what clothing they wear. It's low-key, everybody's welcome, and it just brings a special sense of family to the congregation, which is very meaningful to a lot of the families who live in the area.